Welcome to the session. Today I am going to explain you about the first PUC syllabus. In this syllabus, I am continuing the kingdom by name, the plant kingdom. So under plant kingdom or plankton, you have been studying so far the algae and then the bryophytes. The other three, what left are the pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Today let us take up the pteridophytes. Remember, pteridophytes means that is nothing but a fern. Phyte means, I hope you know that they are plants. That means to say they are the fern plants. Remember, the pteridophytes are the tracheophytes. What do you mean by the tracheophytes? Tracheophytes means the plants with vascular tissues. Or simply we can say they are the vascular plants. Which are the vascular plants? The vascular plants are pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. All these three together called as what? Tracheophytes. And the pteridophytes are the first terrestrial plants or first land plants, which may be comparable to the reptiles among animals, because reptiles are the first vertebrates or first animals which succeeded in taking the land life. So similarly here, pteridophytes are the first land plants or terrestrial plants. So tracheophytes means vascular plants. The plants with vascular tissues like xylem and phloem. Xylem is water conducting tissue and phloem is food conducting tissue. Then, remember, pteridophytes are non-flowering plants. Though they are with vascular tissues, of course, they are the lower vascular plants with xylem and phloem. Some of the elements, like that of the companion cell among the phloem, and even said to be the trachea among the xylem elements are absent. They are the primitive vascular plants, and they do not yield flowers. Hence, they are the non-flowering plants with the vascular tissues. Then, the main plant body is what? Sporophyte. The sporophyte contains or consists of the true roots, stem and leaves. Up to bryophyte, you came across that there was only thallus with no differentiation of true root, stem and leaves. But from pteridophytes onwards, you come across the true roots, stem and leaves in the sporophytic body. And from pteridophytes onwards, remember, sporophytic the phase or sporophytic body is the dominant, the plant body. Whereas in the bryophytes, it was gametophyte which was the dominant plant body. Here, the main plant body is sporophyte with true leaves, stem and roots. What sporophyte contains? The sporophytes bear what? Sporangia. What do you mean by the sporangia? Sporangia is nothing but a sac or a bag-like structure containing what? Spores. These spores germinate and produce what? Gametophytic body. So the spores by germination form the haploid the phase by name gametophyte. Whereas the sporophyte is diploid, gametophyte is haploid. Sporophyte is dominant than that of the gametophyte. that the leaves are very smaller, then they are called microphyls, or larger, then they may be called as the macrophyls. In total, we can say leaves may be smaller or larger. Then, the gametophytic body consists of the sex organs, like the male sex organ called antheridia and the female sex organ called archegonia, as good as in bryophytes. So, the antheridia produce several or more number of what? The antherozoids, which are the male gametes. Whereas archegonia produce only one female gamete by name, the egg. The fertilization between the antherozoid and that of the egg occurs where? Occurs in water body. That results in the formation of a diploid cell by name what? Zygote. The zygote keep on dividing, mitotically form a multicellular, the diploid sporophyte. The sporophyte bears what? The sporangia, as I said earlier. The sporangia contain what? Spores. How the spores are formed? The spores are formed by meiosis. As a result of it, the diploid cells found in the sporophytic body now become what? The haploid. Thereby, the spores are haploid, and these spores by germination form what? Gametophyte. So, thereby, the gametophytic generation and the sporophytic generation alternates with each other. So, this is nothing but alternation of generation, or even simply called as metagenesis. But remember, the sporophytic, the body is the main plant body, or it is dominant than gametophyte. You come across the reverse the condition in bryophytes, where gametophyte was dominant than sporophyte. That is the one. Now, regarding the spores may be what? Homosporous. Majority of the pteridophytes are what? Homosporous, producing the similar kinds of spores. That means there is no difference in their shape or in the size or in the structure like that. All the spores are similar or identical. That condition is called homosporous. Whereas in few pteridophytes, the condition is what? Heterosporous. The typical example is Selaginella or even Salvinia. These two are the pteridophytes in which the spores are what? Heterosporous. What do you mean by heterosporous? Hetero means different. That means the spores are not similar. Few pteridophytes produce two types of the spores. One is microspores and another is the macro or megaspores. And this condition is called heterosporous because the spores are not similar as like homosporous condition. And this heterosporous condition can be seen in Selaginella, and another example is Salvinia. The microspores in turn develops in future into male sex organ by name antheridia, whereas macro or megaspores develop into the female sex organ by name antheroarchegonia. These are the salient features of what? pteridophytes. After studying these silent features, we can take a brief explanation regarding one typical example by name, the fern, that is pteris. This is the fern. How it is? The fern consists of the true root, stem and leaves. Here, the stem is short and thick, that is called rhizome. Rhizome is nothing but what? The stem. This stem contains the what are known as the scale leaves and the top. The roots by name the adventitious roots. Remember, rhizome is nothing but the stem. From the rhizome, there arises what is known as a rachis. Rachis is nothing but the branch of that, the petiole. Petiole is what? A stalk of a leaf. And that petiole, you use that term in the simple leaf. Here it is a compound leaf. Hence, petiole give rise to what? The rachis. So this, from the rachis, then arise what? The leaves like this. These are the leaves. Hence it is the pinnately compound leaves. This is the one. These are the leaves. This entire leaf mass can be referred as frond, which is the photosynthetic region or photosynthetic organ. Then, on the ventral surface of these leaves, there are called what is known as sori, like this. Singular term is sorus. Sorus is the bag-like structure which contains sporangia. Sporangia contains what? The spores. Spores are what? Asexual reproductive bodies. So this is the structure of a fern. That means here you can see true root by name adventitious roots. This is the one. And then the true stem, which is in the form of a rhizome, which is thick and shorter, containing scaly leaves above and the adventitious roots below. From the stem there arise what? Rachis. This is the rachis. The rachis give rise to many leaflets. Remember, these are the leaflet. This entire one is supposed to be a leaf, one leaf. And even it is called as what? Photosynthetic organ by name, frond. So this is the explanation or the structure of a typical fern which come under Pteridophyta. Now, let us know the classification of the pteridophytes. Here there is no need to go in detail with reference to the classification. It is enough to know only the names of the pteridophytic classification. One is Psilopsida. Example is the Psilotum. This is commonly known as whisk fern. Whiskers in the sense they are nothing but the sensory hairs found around the nostrils of the mammals, particularly like that of the tiger or lion or even cattle like that. Sensory hairs. As it appears like that of the whiskers, it is called whisk fern. The second class is Lycopsida. Example is Lycopodium, that is club fern. Club fern in the sense it appears like that of a large stick. ದೊಣ್ಣೆ ಟೈಪಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಅಥವಾ ಗದೆ ಆ ಥರದಲ್ಲಿರೋದನ್ನು ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಕ್ಲಬ್. ಅಂಡ್ ದಿ ಅನದರ್ ಒನ್ ಸ್ಪೀನಾಪ್ಸಿಡಾ. ದಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಈಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಿಸಿಟಮ್. ದಿಸ್ ಅಪಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟ್ ಹಾರ್ಸ್ ಟೈಲ್. hence the name, common name, horse tail. Lastly, Pteropsida, the example is pteris, and these are the typical fern. Remember, in a fern plant, fern is grown as an ornamental plant. This fern leaf may grow even up to about 1 to 1.5 meter length. So these are the 4 classes of pteridophytes. With this, the Pteridophyta, which is nothing but the third group under plant kingdom, is completed. Now let us pass on to the next group by name Gymnosperms. Remember, gymnosperms are advanced than the top part, pteridophytes. Bryophytes are advanced than what? Algae. So we have to write the algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and then ended up with what? Angiosperms. Started with algae. We have to write only in this manner, not as we desire, because it shows the pattern of what? Evolution, or it shows the evolutionary grade. Now, let us know about the gymnosperms. Gymno means what? Naked. Remember, naked. Sperms means what? Seeds. So totally we can say they are the naked seeded plants. Why the seeds are naked? Because there are no flowers and fruits. Whenever there are no flowers, you cannot expect what? Fruits. Whenever there are no fruits, there is no seed envelope. As a result of it, the seeds become what? Naked. The first and foremost important, the unique feature of the gymnosperms are what? They are the naked seeded plants with no flowers and fruits. Then, they are the vascular plants containing what? The vascular tissue like that of xylem and phloem. Of course, the development of the xylem and phloem began from pteridophytes itself. Pteridophytes are the lower vascular plant. That means to say they contain what? Xylem and phloem, with the exception of some xylary and phloem elements like that. Now here, they are also vascular plants with the xylem and phloem and having what? The true leaves, stem and root. And here also the main plant body is what? The sporophytic body. The sporophytic body is dominant with true roots, stem and leaves. Then they are the perennial, the woody trees. Perennial means what? Those which live for longer period of time, like that of the coconut or the eucalyptus or banyan trees like that. Those which live for several years or years together are called the perennial plants. So remember, they are the woody trees or even bushy shrubs. Shrubs are smaller than that of the trees, but larger than that of the herbs like that. Then they have what? Tap root system. Observe in the pteridophytes you came across what? Adventitious roots. So here you come across what is known as the tap roots. In the pine tree, pinus is one of the examples for what? Gymnosperms. In the pine tree, the roots contain what? The fungi. The roots which are loaded with fungi, they can be called as what? Mycorrhiza. Mycos means what? Fungus. Rhiza means what? Root. That means root containing the fungi. These fungi are helpful in drawing or absorbing the essential minerals from the surroundings like that. And then in the cycas plant, the roots are nothing but tap roots, but they are called as coralloid roots because here the roots appear like that of the corals of the ceiling trees. What are corals? Corals are nothing but the exoskeletal structure of ceiling tree animals. As the root system in the cycas appear like that of the corals of coelenterate, it is called coralloid roots. And these coralloid roots contain what? The nitrogen fixing bacteria, which include under the group cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria are nothing but blue-green algae. The typical example are what? Anabaena and Nosta. So these are found in their root system and they are helpful in what? Fixing the atmospheric nitrogen. Thereby the nitrogen is available to the plants in the form of what? Nitrates. And the conversion of that nitrogen into the nitrates is carried out by this nitrogen fixing bacteria. It is a sort of what? The obligatory mutualism, or simply called as symbiosis. That is about the root system. Then regarding the stem is unbranched. For example, in case of what? The cycas, it is unbranched. It is almost like that of the trunk of a coconut plant. Here, this is unbranched woody stem, and of course it is shorter with what? Crown of leaves at the top, like this, as like that of the leaves of a coconut. How the leaves are? Leaves are compound and pinnately compound leaves. Pinnately compound leaves is what? Nothing but a rachis with what? Leaflets. So here, even in case of the coconut, the leaves are what? The pinnately compound leaves. Here also, the leaves are pinnately compound. Or the leaves may be simple and are needle-like, as in pinus tree. In pine tree, the leaves are needle-like. Thereby the surface area is what? Reduced. And to some extent, it reduces the rate of what? The transpiration. It is nothing but a method by which water may be what? Conserved. That is regarding the stem and then the leaves. Now, regarding the spores, the sporophytic body produce what? Spores. The spores are of two types, that is microspores and macrospores. Where these macro and microspores are present, I told you in the beginning that the spores are always found in a bag-like structure by name what? That is the sporangia. That is sporangia. Sporangia in the sense a packet or a sac-like structure in which what found? Spores are found. These sporangia are two types based upon the size. Microsporangia and the macrosporangia or megasporangia. These microsporangia and megasporangia are found in a mass of leaves by name microsporophyll and macrosporophyll. Microsporangia is found in microsporophyll, which later organized into a male cone. Cone is nothing but roughly triangular in shape. This is the male sex organ. The microsporophyll aggregate to form the sex organ by name male cone, whereas macrosporophyll aggregated to form a structure, that is a female sex organ, which is called the female cone. That is about the heterosporous. Now, the next is where the pollen grains are formed, either in the male cone or in the female cone. It is true, pollen grains are nothing but the male reproductive the bodies. That means to say pollen grains are formed in the male cone, and these pollen grains by air current or through air come and fertilize what? The ovules what found in the megasporophyll, that is the female cone, where the female cone is found. That means here the fertilization occurs through the agency of what? Air. Whenever the fertilization is over, it results in the formation of what? A zygote. Whereas the ovules present in there form what? Seeds. Whether there are any fruit? No. No fruit, because there are no what? Flowers. Hence, the seeds become what? The naked. From which the seeds are developed. Seeds are developed from the ovules. Ovules are found in the female sex organ. These develop into the seeds. And ultimately, the zygote develops into a sporophytic body. This is how it happens in the gymnosperms, with the typical examples of what and what? Cycas and Pinus and even Neetum. So that is, these are the examples: Neetum, Cycas and Pinus. These three are the typical examples for the gymnosperms. So with this, even the gymnosperms is completed. The only one which left under the plant kingdom or plantae is angiosperms. So that topic I will take up in the next class. Thank you.